Sahanavavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Saha viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Paramananda Madhavam. Okay, let's read from verses 13 to 14. Tribhir gunamayir bhavaihi ebhis sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mamebhyah paramavyayam. Daivi hyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante mayametam taranti te. So what we saw here is that people are deluded by these three gunas. And because we're deluded by these three gunas, we're not able to understand the reality behind the three gunas. This is what he says in verse number 13. People don't know me, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, who is immutable, means who is a changeless reality, who is distinct from all of these gunas. The question Arjuna asked is, if we are all part of these gunas, we're in these gunas, amidst these three gunas, we are made of these three gunas. We are made of sattva, rajas, and tamas. Our body is made of tamas. Our pranas and our organs of action are made of rajas. Our organs of knowledge and our antakarana, the mind, the intellect equipment, are made of sattva. We are in this Maya. Shri Krishna, we are in this Maya. You are beyond this Maya. So how do you expect us to cross Maya? Is it possible? So in verse 14, a very popular one, he says, yes, it is very much possible to cross Maya for whom Mam eva ye prapadyante. The ones who seek me only, they definitely can transcend Maya, or those who take refuge in me only. And last time we saw the detailed meaning of this verse, that this Maya is Daivi. It exists because it is illumined by consciousness. Otherwise, it cannot exist in its own right. Daivi. He means it is through arthapatti. We are able to postulate that Maya is there through the effects. Because of the effects of the world, we are able to postulate that there is something that is there, and that something is Maya. Gunamayi, it is three gunas. And Mama Maya, Ishvara says, it is my Maya. Means it is not independent of Ishvara or God, And this Maya doesn't affect or pollute God. Just like the fangs of a snake does not pollute or affect the snake, but can easily pollute or affect somebody else. And this Maya is duratyaya. It is difficult. It is definitely difficult because so many people have fallen prey to this Maya again and again. And it is not so easy. Before I explained to you that antar, inside, we're not able to distinguish drik from drishya, the seer from the seen. We're not able to distinguish the seer from the seen. So we just say, I am this body. We're not able to separate ourselves from this body. And bahir, outside, we're not able to distinguish Brahman from the world. We're not able to see that actually in the world there's an underlying substratum, which is Brahman, pure consciousness, awareness. So it is difficult because it is difficult to distinguish these things. They are very, very subtle. They're very subtle. Where that sakshi is, there ahankara is. Where that witness consciousness is, there that ego is. Where Brahman is, there the world is. So it's almost like we have to pierce through a veil. We have to pierce through a veil to understand what Maya is. Puja Gurudev said very beautifully once, behind the thought curtain is Narayana. So we have to pierce through the veil of names and forms to get to Maya. That's not always easy because, as I said, Maya has great packaging. It lures us to get lost of the names and forms. It is like now people get so distracted with social media or the internet or something like that. They're working on something and then something pops up. They get totally distracted by it and it becomes very hard to refocus and remember what exactly were they doing. Very hard to remember. So these names and forms lure us, so it's difficult to pierce the veil through them. Duratyaya. But Sri Krishna says, those who surrender to me only, mam eva, whether in devotion, in bhakti, or in jnana. And if we think about it, actually Sri Krishna, meaning Bhagwan, meaning that ultimate reality, is the best place to surrender to. We are surrendering to money. We surrender to money and we give everything to money. We do everything for money. But tell me, does money protect us all the time? Is money there all the time? Can we guarantee it? But we surrender ourselves so much to money. We surrender our own self-respect, our own values to money. Can money actually protect us? We surrender ourselves to please society. Let us do what society wants. Let us do whatever people want. Let us be a people pleaser. Will society actually protect us? Will they? That same society that praises us will also criticize us. We surrender everything to our career, to our profession, to everything for our profession. But is that secure? Will that protect us? They can just lay us off anytime. So we are surrendering to other things and other people in life, but it's so foolish actually from our part because they will not protect us. Because they are not always there. But when we surrender to that Bhagwan, that ultimate reality, that's worth surrendering to. Mam eva ye prapadyante, because only that reality can protect us. Only Bhagwan can protect us at the end of the day. Nobody else really can. So it is worth doing. It is worth giving ourselves completely to that which will always protect us and never let us down. It is absolutely worth it. Mam eva ye prapadyante. So just think about this act of surrender. Mayam etam tarantite. These people will cross Maya. And as I explained to you already, the self is beyond Maya. So the crossing over is really understanding that the self is already beyond Maya. That Atman is beyond Maya. Even if this body, mind, intellect is in the realm of Maya, that's okay because Atman is untouched by it. And from the highest standpoint, Brahman alone is. This Maya is also Maya. Don't forget that. In Panchadashi, there's a beautiful portion where people are asking all questions about Maya. And Swami Vidyaranyaji says, how can you ask so many questions about that which is a question itself? Maya is a question itself. So why are you asking so many questions about Maya? And the truth of Maya is when we keep piercing and piercing and piercing and asking about Maya, it bursts. It can no longer sustain. So that's what happens with Maya. Maya in the form of avidya or ignorance, it cannot stand vichara, cannot stand inquiry. So once we keep piercing and piercing and piercing and piercing through it, it explodes. And so from the Mahatma standpoint, from the enlightened being standpoint, Brahman alone is. To seekers, Maya is brought to get us to understand Brahman. Because as I said, we are in this realm of names and forms. So one Mahatma described this very beautifully. He said that imagine you have to teach a child mathematics. Okay, you have to teach him mathematics. Now, you have no instruments, nothing, no telephone, no calculator, no telephone, no calculator, no computer, nothing, and you have to teach him mathematics. So what would you do? You tell him, imagine you have $5, right? Imagine you started with $5, and then with those $5, what happens is you gave 5 people $1 each. So what do you have? Now you have $0. So you started with $5, and then you gave the $5, $1 each to 5 people, and now you have $0. But actually, he had nothing. He had nothing. He imagined that he had $5. He imagined that he had $5. Then he imagined that he gave these $5 away. Then now he imagines he has nothing. So just like we bring in concepts to teach children mathematics, we say, imagine this, now this happened, now you don't have it anymore. Like that, Maya is brought in to teach us about Brahman. So this Maya is that which is the power of Brahman, which is an appearance, which appears difficult to cross, but those who surrender themselves fully, they definitely can transcend this Maya. Now, the question comes is, how come people don't surrender to you, Bhagavan? If what we have to do is surrender to you to transcend this Maya, why don't we just surrender? What is so hard? So in verse number 15, he says, let me explain to you why it's so hard and those people who don't surrender to me. So we'll have Padminiji's here. Okay. Namam Dushkritino mudaha
न मां दुष्कृतिनो मूढाः
प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमाः
प्रबध्यन्ते नराधमाः
माययापहृतज्ञानाः
माययापहृतज्ञानाः
आसुरं भावमाश्रिताः
आसुरं भावमाश्रिताः
न मां दुष्कृतिनो मूढाः प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमाः माययापहृतज्ञानाः आसुरं भावमाश्रिताः. So he says, na mam prapadyante means these people na prapadyante. They don't seek mam. They don't seek me. Who are these people? Dushkritinaha. Dushkritinaha means those who have done some papa karmas. And I'll explain what that is. They are mudaha. They are deluded. They are fools. They are naradhamaha, the lowest of the low. Mayaya apahrita jnanaha. They're deprived of knowledge, means their knowledge has been apahrita, kidnapped by Maya. Asuram bhavam ashritaha. And they have taken up this bhava of becoming like a demoniac, like an asura. Asura or asura. So, the evildoers, the deluded, the lowest of men do not seek me. They whose discrimination has been destroyed by their own delusions follow the ways of the demons. So, first, there are the group of people. In verse number 15, we're talking about Dushkritinaha. In verse number 16, Sukritinaha. Okay? So, Dushkritinaha means people who, krita means who've done, dush, some negative karmas. So, people who have done negative karmas, what happens is the results of those actions, they block us from seeking deeper. They block us from seeking within. Very, very simple examples, right? When we overindulge in our body, we overeat or we oversleep or we overgo out and enjoy ourselves. After those points in time, we're too tired. We're too tired, too full, too inert, too tamasic to do something sattvic. Even if after all those things, if we come to a Vedanta class, we'll fall asleep, right? So when we do something negative, the effect is it creates a blockage in us, which prevents us from seeking deeper. When we lose our temper, subtler example, when we lose our temper, when we just give it to somebody, when we go totally all out, creates a lot of disturbance with us. So when we are in a setting where we can learn, our mind is so disturbed, it can't focus. So Dushkriti is those people who have created or have acted in negative way, that now what's happening is these blockages are there, it's blocking them from the spiritual path. It's blocking them from experiencing it, from understanding it, from really going through it. It's blocking them. And as a result, how are they living? Mudaha. Mudaha means fools, deluded. This term comes again and again in Bhaja Govindam, Mudhamate, right? Seek Govinda, seek Govinda. Oh, fool, seek Govinda. And there I had given the acronym that who is a fool? A fool, Fool, is someone who focuses on the outer and on the lower. So F focuses, O on, O outer, and L lower. So people who focus on the outer things of names and forms of things, of beings, of experiences. And people who also focus on the lower koshas, the lower Annamaya kosha, the body, Pranamaya kosha, the vital airs, Manomaya kosha, on the mind, Vijnanamaya kosha, the intellect, Anandamaya kosha, who focus on these lower realities, these lower koshas who are not ourself. This is called a fool, someone who's totally gone outside. So what is their focus on? I must wear a specific kind of clothes so that I get self-respect. I must be around certain people so that I get recognized. I must eat certain kinds of food so I may enjoy. I must go visit certain kinds of places so I can share it with everybody. So their mind is totally outside, totally extrovert. So mudaha. Then because their mind is totally extrovert, they have become fools. Then they become asuram. Asuram bhavam ashritaha. They become asuras. They engage in just total selfish action. This Asura Sampat will come again in chapter 16 of the Bhagavad Gita. So there literally we will see a whole elaboration on how we sometimes are, right? So they have such selfish desires and goals and greed and lust and pride and jealousy. They're just using this world for indulgence. And asura literally means asushu ramante. Those who revel in sense objects, sense pleasures. Those who revel in that, they become asuras. And so now their focus is the outer and the lower. And they have taken up this asura bhava. So that fills their mind. There's no space in their mind for anything else. For spirituality, for wanting to become better, for wanting to lift themselves, no space. And what happens when they've taken up this bhava? Mayaya apahrita jnana means whatever little knowledge they had, because some sense of being able to do good, some sense. Nobody is completely, totally bad. There is some sense of goodness in them. Whatever it has been kidnapped or destroyed. So it is like they lose their discernment. They go all out. They go all out, meaning it is not that they're just becoming selfish. So becoming selfish is one thing, right? Doing things for my selfish pursuit, getting lots of luxuries for myself. That is one thing. But when the knowledge has been kidnapped, they even transgress the law. So mayaya apahrita jnanaha means that they'll even resort to killing, stealing, lying, cheating. They'll do whatever it takes to fulfill their selfish pleasures, whatever it takes. So it's not that they're just, being luxurious or, just spending on themselves. It's actually they're doing nishiddha karma. They're doing things that are against the law. And when I say law, one is constitutional law, right? Constitutional law, like a crime, like murder or theft. But there's also a law that's in a family, right? In a family, there's a law. It might not be in the constitution per se, but there's a law of self-respect, right? There's a law of treating people well, not harming them, not hurting them, not abusing them. So these people have just lost it. And then we also have that expression, they lost it. And then what happens is, naradhamaha, they become the lowest of the low, a lowest of the low that we can't even call them humans. They're like animals only. We don't even know what has taken over them. So it is like it's a ladder of fall. In Bhagavad Gita in chapter 2, we talk about a ladder of fall. This is also a ladder of fall. That this person just keeps falling and falling and falling lower and lower. And if we see this and if we know someone like this, we have to tell them, right? That's also our dharma, because otherwise that person will fall so deeply. There was one child, and when he was very young, he stole a candy bar. He stole a candy bar. And, his parents didn't say anything. He stole a candy bar, so it's okay. Then he grew a little bit older. Then what happened is he stole a bag. He stole like a small, one of those very uh, Louis Vuitton, very expensive kind of bags, small bags, but cost a lot of money. He stole a bag. And he got away with it. His parents found out. He didn't say anything. Then he stole a car. He stole a car and he took it, he drove it around and everything like that. And finally, he ended up in jail. And then, then his parents went to see him. And they said, why did you do this and that? Don't you know any better? And the son said, I actually blame this on you, because when I stole the candy bar, you didn't stop me. You didn't stop me when I stole the candy bar. You just let me go. And so then I stole the bag, and then I stole the car, and now I'm here. So this is also one thing for us to learn, that number one, if we see ourselves going on this route where it's just going down and down and down and down, we have to stop ourselves at some point, because we will never change then. How low will we go? And if we see somebody who is, close to us, who is around us, who is going down this path, we also should say something. Because how low will they go? Or if we are in a company, or if we are in a certain situation that is going down this path, we should also say something. So this happens to us because of some blockage that we ourselves have created. And because of this reason, we are not seeking inside. We are seeking outside. And we are seeking outside to get deluded even more and more and more. And finally, when we get so low, that's when we say, wow, there must be something else, right? But the idea of life is we don't have to go to Naradhama. We don't have to go that low. We can get that alertness, get that spirit of inquiry right away. So Bhagavan says, these people are not seeking me, but let me tell you those who are seeking me. Those who are seeking me, they will definitely come to me. And I will tell you who they are. Verse number 16. Again, this is a very, very famous verse. Chaturvidha bhajante maam.
Chaturvidha bhajante maam.
Jana sukriti norjuna.
Jana sukritinarjuna.
Arto jignasurartharthi.
Arto jitnyasurartharthi.
Jnani cha bharatarshabha.
Jnani cha bharatarshabha.
Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritinorjuna arto jignasurartharthi jnani cha bharatarshabha. So, juxtaposing this with verse number 15, where we saw Dushkriti. Dushkriti, those who are have done some negative karmas and have a blockage. Here it's Sukriti, those who have done positive karmas. Therefore, there's a channel for spirituality to flow. And just like there were four. There were four. There was the mudaha, the fool, and who got that asura bhava, got those qualities of an asura, whose knowledge had been looted and who had gone so low, lowest of the low. Now here there are four. There are four. There's the arta. Arta is the one who we will see, that person who's seeking Bhagavan in distress. Artharati, the one who's seeking Bhagavan for wealth or some other pursuit. Jignasu, who's seeking Bhagavan for knowledge. And Jnani, the highest of the high, who's not seeking Bhagavan, who is one with Bhagavan. So in 15, we saw 4. In 16, we are seeing 4. In 15, we saw lowest of the low. In 16, we are seeing highest of the high. So, and here, and one interesting thing also, one of our Swamiji said that in verse 15, he doesn't mention Arjuna's name. Means Arjuna's not part of that party. But in 16, what does he do? He says Bharatar Shabha and Arjuna. He says Arjuna's name twice. Means Arjuna, you're definitely part of this party. You're not part of that party, you're part of this party. So who is part of this party? So Chaturvidha bhajante mam. So those who worship me, bhajante mam janaha. These people, they are fourfold, 4 kinds. Sukriti. So because they've done some good actions, their minds are relatively peaceful and they're coming to me. They're all coming to me. And Bhagavan says, the beauty is that they're coming to me. They might be coming for something or the other, but they are coming to me. And if they come to me for anything, don't worry, I will pull them. That's what Bhagwan says. First is arta, those who seek God in distress. So there are some people who are going through a lot of stress, a lot of trauma. Could be some health issues that they're going through, some family issues, some trauma experience, some depression. They just don't know what to do and they are seeking Bhagavan. This in our scriptures, one example is given, Gajendra Moksha. Gajendra, who was caught and bitten by that crocodile, and his only refuge was Bhagavan. The elephants tried to save him, but he cried out to Bhagavan for help. So it's an arta. Another example is Draupadi. The beauty of Draupadi is when she was, her sari was being, stripped from her. She did not say, Yudhishthira, save me. She did not say, Bhima, save me. She said, Krishna, Krishna alone, you save me, you save me. And she cried out to Krishna. And we have Kunti Devi who prayed to Krishna for sorrow. Please keep giving me sorrow because every time there's sorrow, you come and I want to see you. So you keep giving me sorrow. So Arta is those people who cry in utmost distress. And if you all remember, I had told you that there is a beautiful thing about a person who cries to God because they're like a baby. A baby, a small baby cannot do anything. Small baby, maybe just barely a few days old, cannot even move, cannot turn, cannot talk, cannot say anything. A baby cannot say anything, cannot eat on their own, cannot drink on their own, cannot, lift themselves, cannot move, cannot turn. They cannot go to the bathroom on their own. But one thing they can do very beautifully, they can cry, right? And when they cry, that all-powerful mother comes and she does everything for the baby. So there is a beauty in crying. So sometimes if we're in distress and we don't know what to do, cry. There's a beauty in crying, because when tears are very solid and real, then Bhagavan does come, because they come from such a place of purity. So arta. Then there are those who seek Bhagavan for pleasure, for wealth, artharthi. So they want money. They want money. They're going to Bhagavan for money. They're going to Bhagavan to get some kind of position. They're going to Bhagavan, I hope my children get married, or I hope we have grandkids. All these prayers that they come, they're artharthi, seeking for something else. So you're going to Bhagavan, seeking something other than Bhagavan. So it's like we're using Bhagavan to not ask for Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the highest, the greatest, but no, let's ask for something else. Right? And this is what happened to Dhruva. Now, if you remember the story of Dhruva in Bhagavatam, he went and he prayed to Bhagavan for a post from which he would never be removed. The highest post which would never be removed, because he was removed from his father's lap. And when he finally got the darshan of Bhagavan, Bhagavan said, you will be king, you will reign, you will get a great post, everybody will come to know of you. And Dhruva was so sad because he felt, God, I should have just asked for you. Now that you've come, I don't want anything else. I should have just asked for you. Why did I use you to ask for something else? And that's the sorrow that the artharthi has to go through, because when we deeply pray for something, at the right time we get it. But after getting it, we feel also like, oh, why did we ask that? Why didn't we ask for Bhagavan? So artharthi are those kinds of bhaktas. Then Jignasu is the one who prays to God, who worships God to find out more about Bhagavan. See, suppose somebody is delivering a parcel to us, sending some shipment to us. Every month they're sending a nice package of fruits or food, something like that. We don't know who's sending. Now, won't you inquire? Every month I'm getting this package of fruits. Who is sending? Right? In that very first moment you get the box, you don't know who it's from, you'll spend so much time inquiring, who sent this, who sent this? Send a message, email, call people, who sent this? Because you want to know. Now, this Bhagwan who has given us this life, this breath, this beautiful family, these experiences, every moment we are getting something. We are not inquiring who sent this? Who sent this life to us? Who sent this breath? Who sent this body to us? Who sent these experiences to us? We are not inquiring. Jignasu is the one who starts to inquire. Where is this all coming from? Who are you? What is your real nature? Bhagavan, I want to know you. And when that jignasa becomes so ripe, in Brahma Sutras, it says, Athato Brahma Jignasa. When it becomes ripe, then one sees it or seeks that truth, avagati pariyantam, until the end, and becomes a jnani. So when in Brahma Sutra, something very beautiful they say is that when the sadhana chatushtaya is ripe, when the fourfold qualities of a seeker are ripe, then that person wants to seek the divine. They want to seek, they want to know. And when that knowledge is fulfilled, and when that knower becomes one with the known, that is jnani. Jnani is the one who has become one with Bhagavan, who's no longer seeking Bhagavan, who is one with Bhagavan. That is the Jnani. So these are the different kinds of devotees. Now in some other places, right, like let us say in Bhakti Shastra, so here we put Jnani above and beyond all the three. And if we take the three, we keep Jignasu at the top, means somebody who's really seeking God. Then we keep Artharti, the one who's seeking, pleasure and power, etc. They're seeking all of that from God. Then we keep Artha in the bottom. Those who seek God only in distress. Only when troubles come, then they turn to God. At least for Artharti, for these ones, we want something all the time. So we're going to Bhagwan all the time, right? We want something all the time. May my day be okay. May there not be traffic, Bhagwan. May this person accept what I'm going to say. At least Artharti prays a little bit more. Huh? Artha seeks God only in distress. So that's why that's the level. Jignasu, then Artharti, then Artha. But in Bhakti Shastra, they keep Artha on top. They keep Artha, distress, on top because they say that in the Bhakti Shastra, people may have this desire to know God, but they might not have that intensity. And the example that they give is the gopis of Vrindavan. The gopis of Vrindavan, they just couldn't live without Krishna. Their artha was different. It's not that they were seeking Bhagavan in time of distress. They were distressed all the time because Bhagavan was not there, right? They're not seeking Bhagavan because they want to be out of some trouble, out of some problem. They were seeking Bhagavan because they want to be with Bhagavan. Their distress is there apart from Bhagavan. They are away from Bhagavan. And that's what was causing them so much distress. And they were distressed all the time when they were separate from Bhagavan. So in Bhakti Shastra, they keep Artha on top. That this kind of intense longing, which they call viraha, that separation, makes them long for Bhagavan even more. There's that saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? So gopis felt that. And then after that comes Jignasu, because only when that longing is so intense, then that seeking can come. So in Bhakti Shastra, it's more like an order, more like an order there, where Artha is kept on top, then Jignasu, the seeking, comes, then Artharati, where they gain that bliss, which is Krishna. So in this way, it can also be seen. So you will see it like that, let us say in Narada Bhakti Sutra or other Bhakti Shastra. There's also one beautiful point where at different times of our life, we can be different bhaktas, right? In one point of our life, we could have been a very artha bhakta, only seeking God in distress. At another point of our lives, or even maybe now, we could be artharti, praying to God every day, may everything be well, may all go well, just praying every day for something or the other. And then at some point, we could also be jignasu, those who want to seek God. So at different stages of our life, there are different prayers depending on the nature of our devotion to Bhagavan. And Guruji said something so nice also. He said, all you need to do is give Bhagavan some time. And he referred to the Vamana avatar. If we remember the Vamana avatar of Srimad Bhagavatam, there Raja Bali was there, and this Sri Vishnu took the form of Vamana. Vamana to teach Raja Bali a lesson, because he was quite proud and arrogant. So he came in disguise of a dwarf, and he said, I want 3 steps of land. And Raja Bali said, okay, fine, you're a dwarf, you want 3 steps of land. No big deal, right? No, 3 steps of land, okay. He's a dwarf, so okay. Then Sri Vishnu, who took the avatar of a dwarf, became so incredibly big. And then he said, yeah, I want my 3 steps. And the first step, he stepped on the earth. Second step, he stepped on all of the heavens. And the third step, he had nowhere to put it. And so Raja Bali said, you put it on my head, meaning you step on my ego. So, like this, Sri Vishnu as a Vamana avatar said, give me 3 steps. And then he shrunk into this big, big giant and took 3 steps to the earth, to the heavens, and to the ego. So like that, Bhagavan says, give me 3 minutes. Give me 3 minutes. And if you give me 3 minutes, I will make myself so big that I will eventually take over. The idea is pray in whatever way you pray, but pray, because eventually we will get to the point of that deep longing for Bhagavan and ultimately that deep oneness with Bhagavan. So just pray in whatever way. Now the question comes, is there, somebody who is the greatest devotee of all, Bhagavan? You have this Artha, Artharthi, Jignasu, Jnani. Who's the greatest one of all? So Bhagavan says, okay, let me tell you. And here we will just see a little bit of verse number 17. Tesham jnani nityayuktaha
तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्तः
ekabhaktirvishishyate
एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते
priyo hi jnaninotyartham
प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम्
aham sacha mama priyaha
अहं स च मम प्रियः
tesham jnani nityayuktaha ekabhaktirvishishyate priyo hi jnaninotyartham aham sacha mama priyaha. So he says, which is the best? Tesham. Tesham, of them, meaning of the 4. Jnani, those who, means those who are one with me, those who know me in truth, those who are realized. They, nityayuktaha, they are ever steadfast. And ekabhaktihi, they have single-pointed devotion towards me. Vishishyate, they excel. And priyahi jnaninaha atyartham aham. He says, I am very dear to the jnani. Aham priyaha. I am dear to who? Jnaninaha. I am very dear to the jnani. Atyartham. Exceedingly dear. And sacha mama priyaha. Sa. And that jnani, that wise person, enlightened being, is mama priyaha, very, very dear to me. So of them, the wise, ever steadfast and devoted to the one excels. For I am exceedingly dear to the wise, and they are dear to me. So what is so special about this jnani, or this enlightened being? 2 beautiful things. The first is nitya yuktaha. This word nitya yuktaha means is ever present with me, ever joined with me, ever one with me. See, in other practices of bhakti, it is only when we do certain things that we feel one with Bhagavan. So let us say in the body level, when we offer puja, when we do puja, we feel one with Bhagavan at that moment. We're doing a puja, we're chanting some shlokas, we're offering deepam, dhupam, everything. We feel one. Or sometimes when we are chanting the name, when we are doing japa, we feel one at that time. Or when we go to a temple, we go to a mandir, a temple, pilgrimage, we feel one at that time. Or sometimes kirtan, when we're singing kirtan, bhajan, we feel one. So this kind of bhakti, which is a practice, we feel it quite, sporadically. Like sometimes when we're doing things, we feel the bhakti, we feel the devotion. But when we're away from it, we're not feeling the bhakti. And even in those times when we are doing puja or japa, chanting, etc., sometimes we're not completely there also. Sometimes we could be distracted. The mind could be here or there. Sometimes we do it mechanically. And sometimes there are gradations. There are times when the bhakti is so high and exhilarating. And there are times when the bhakti is also quite, today I'm not really feeling it. There are times the bhakta will also doubt, is Bhagwan there or what? How come my prayer is not being answered? What's going on? So in the practice of bhakti, with the other three, it fluctuates. Fluctuates, that practice, the feeling of being connected to God is not there all the time. There are times we just don't feel connected to God. But for a jnani, how is it the jnani is ever connected to Bhagwan? Because the jnani is Bhagwan in essence. Huh? The jnani knows that their real nature is Bhagwan. And so they can never be disconnected from Bhagwan. We can be disconnected from our body. We can be disconnected from our mind, from our thoughts. We can be disconnected from our intellect and ideas, and disconnected from all practices, all actions, all words. But can we ever be disconnected from the self? No. We are choicelessly the self. Even if we want to be disconnected from Atman, we cannot be disconnected from Atman. We are Atman itself. So that jnani, because they realize their true nature as Atman and that Bhagavan's real nature is Atman, they are ever connected. We don't even need to say connected, they are one. They are one. So there's never a disconnect. There's never a feeling of I am away from Bhagavan. I am separate from Bhagavan. I am longing from Bhagavan. I am with Bhagavan. I am that all the time. Nitya Yukta. There's never ever disconnect. And the jnani has eka bhaktir vishishyate. Eka bhakti means just single pointed devotion. And this eka bhakti or ananya bhakti, this thought process comes in the Bhagavad Gita lots of times. What this means is, for a bhakta, sometimes the mind may go into Bhagavan and sometimes other things also, right? So there's a feeling of necessity that I have to do my japa, I have to do my puja, and I have to keep my mind in Bhagavan. And when I'm doing work or when I'm engaged in the world, then I'm away from Bhagavan. So there's this feeling that only when I'm doing my sadhana, that I am one with Bhagavan, and when I'm engaging in the world with people, I'm away from Bhagavan. And there's this restlessness of the bhakta that I just want to do sadhana so that I can always just be with Bhagavan. Why do I have to engage with the world? Why do I have to do all of those other things? So bhakta goes through these ups and downs. The devotee, the seeker, goes through these ups and downs that this is limiting me. Why is this like this? But now think of a jnani. For jnani, that whole world is appearing on that awareness which I am. That awareness, pure consciousness, that Atman, which I am, the whole world is appearing on that. So where is God not? Please tell. Whether one is at work, that is an expression of God. Whether one is eating, it's an expression of God. Whether one is walking, everything is an expression of God. Everything is God. How can we say that we are away from God? Every single thing we experience is in and through God. Every part of the movie is in the screen. Every single happening in the world is in Atman. So how could we be away? And that's why true spirituality is not partitioning. This is my sadhana time. This is my work time. This is my family time. True spirituality is a holistic approach. Everything is worship. Everything is spirituality. It is making our entire life spiritual, not compartmentalizing it. It is the entire thing is spirituality, because the entire thing is God. When are we away from God? In Ramcharitmanas, when Sri Rama asked one of the rishis, where should I dwell? Now I'm in the forest, where should I dwell? And he said, but where are you not? How can I tell you where to dwell? Where are you not dwelling already? So because Jnani is Nitya Yukta, ever one with the self, does not need anything to connect with God. Nothing, doesn't need anything to connect with God. It's ever one with the self. And as Eka Bhaktihi, who sees that divinity everywhere, that if you cannot be away from Bhagavan in any way, that Jnani is divine. And a deeper significance also is this Nitya Yuktaha means Brahma Satyam. Brahman is Satyam. And Eka Bhaktihi Jagat Mithya. This is what the Jnani has. And that's what makes them so special, right? So this verse is very beautiful. So more of this verse we will take up next week. Okay, but for now, just lots to think about, right? So whatever, in verse 15, we saw that when we do something negative, it blocks us from the spiritual path. And in verse 16, we saw when we do something positive, it opens up a spiritual path for us. And we also saw that in whatever way, just pray. In whatever way, go to Bhagwan for anything. Just make your only resort Bhagavan. Because if we give him 3 minutes, he will take 3 big steps and swallow us, right? So just keep going to him. Just make him the resort. And eventually, we will excel, we will evolve and grow, right? So we'll say the closing prayer. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.